Yo, what is up guys? It's me, Exactly. And there's a lot of stuff going around about this whole Kyrie Irving, Isaiah Thomas trade thing. It's not even about the trade anymore. People aren't talking about how the trade impacts the NBA. How good will Kyrie Irving be on the Boston Celtics? How good will Isaiah Thomas be on the Cleveland Cavaliers? Who won the trade? All that other stuff? No. It has moved way past that in an entirely different direction. There are some players now, or ex-players, who are upset about how franchises treat some of the players in the NBA. They're using this as an example to voice their frustrations over the whole players being loyal type thing. So loyal players, this is a big deal to us NBA fans. We love the loyal players, we love to bash the disloyal players. I'm sure you've all heard it many times by now. Kevin Durant is a snake. You've all heard that saying. I'm sure most of you have said that saying at some point. You can't bring up the name KD without someone mentioning that he is a snake. People always make jokes about his loyalty. I've seen a few where they changed it on 2K. They changed the loyalty rating all the way down to a 0. Of course, because he left Oklahoma City. He was their star player. He left in free agency, and it didn't help that he left to the team that beat them, but still, a star player that leaves the organization that was loyal to them. That's what's seen as a snake now, or a traitor, or something along those lines. It started with Kevin Durant, but now it seems like every single player that leaves in free agency or asked to be traded is also a snake. I've heard it about Paul George. After he told Indiana that he wasn't going to leave and they traded him to the Thunder, people were still calling him a snake for some reason. Same thing with Gordon Hayward. After he left the Utah Jazz to join the Boston Celtics, he was called a snake or a traitor, or that he wasn't loyal. You didn't really hear much about Jimmy Butler, since he said many times that he didn't want to leave Chicago. He wanted to stay there, but they still traded him, so it wouldn't really make sense to call him a snake. But now you're also hearing it about Kyrie Irving too, now that he asked to be traded and was traded to the Boston Celtics. He's not loyal. He's a snake and he's a traitor. If those players were loyal, they never would have asked to be traded, or they never would have left in free agency. So it's their fault that they're a snake, and it's their fault that they're not loyal. That's the thought process of most of us NBA fans. And I do understand where it comes from. I can see where fans will be upset of a star player leaving a certain team to go play for somewhere else. But at the same time, it's just unreasonable to expect star players to stick with the organization that drafted them, or any team. Unreasonable to expect them to be this loyal to a lot of these NBA teams. But I'll come back to that in just a second. First off, I want to talk about what I was talking about before I kind of got off track here. A couple of ex-NBA players voicing out their frustrations over this whole Isaiah Thomas trade. Caron Butler posted this picture on Instagram yesterday. The Celtics traded a guy who played for them the game after his sister died, but y'all expect players to be loyal to the franchise. Sure. And then under that, he put a caption sympathizing with IT, saying that it hurts when you give them team everything, you sacrifice for a team, and then they trade you away. And we all know that's exactly what Thomas did for the Boston Celtics. The man lost a tooth playing for that team. The man lost his sister and then still played for the team the day after that when he really didn't have to. He said it countless times how much he loved the city of Boston, how much he loved playing for them, and we all really thought that he was going to re-sign with them after this year, and then bang! Out of nowhere, he's gone to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Why did they trade him? Because it's a business. All this relationships and loyalty stuff is nice and all, but at the end of the day, these teams, these GMs, these owners are going to do what's best for the business. All the other stuff gets put aside. They have to make the move they feel is going to lead them to the most money, even if that means trading away someone like Isaiah Thomas. Yet for the most part, when teams do this, us as fans don't come out and bash the team. No one's really bashing the Boston Celtics that badly for trading away Isaiah Thomas. However, if Isaiah Thomas said he wanted to be traded, you best to guarantee people will be going at his throat. That's exactly what the players are trying to say. The players are trying to say that they also have to treat it like a business. They have to look out for what's in the best of their interest. If that's what the teams are going to do, then that's what the players have to do as well. If a team can trade you in a blink of an eye without being called disloyal, why shouldn't a player be allowed to leave as well without being called disloyal or a snake or a traitor or anything like that? Former Celtics player Ray Allen also commented on this yesterday. He liked Caron Butler's post and then left a comment saying, "Why is it that we're disloyal for going to a team that we feel is the best for us, but there is no outrage towards the team that trades us? Fans kill us, but when a team does it, They say it's just a business. They're completely right. This is an unfair double standard that we as fans do put upon some of these players. It's not fair for us to expect every player to be loyal to the team that they are playing for. I mean, we want to say that players should be more like Tim Duncan, for example. Us NBA fans acknowledge Tim Duncan as one of the most loyal players that the NBA has ever seen. And he was extremely loyal, but I bet most people don't know that he was moments away from leaving the San Antonio Spurs and joining the Orlando Magic. I bet a lot of people that say that did not even know that. Just imagine how different the entire NBA will look right now if he did leave for the Magic. Instead of spending, how many years was it, like 20 with the San Antonio Spurs and retiring with the San Antonio Spurs, Tim Duncan was about to join the Orlando Magic. He even said it himself. He was supposed to team up with Tracy McGrady and Grant Hill, who had just got traded there back in the early 2000s to try and take on the Los Angeles Lakers when they had Shaq and Kobe. They said that they wanted to dominate the East and meet the Lakers in the finals year after year after year and eventually hopefully win some championships like that. Come to think of it, that will make a great what if video. I'm not really into the whole what if thing. That's not the thing I try and do on this channel, but I'm just saying I know some people out there that do that, and I think that'll make a pretty good video, so just make sure to credit me before you make it, because I can see it now. The what if scenario that would have broken NBA history. What if Tim Duncan led the San Antonio Spurs to team up with Tracy McGrady on the Orlando Magic? Title's a bit long, but it sounds about right. Anyways, another player that was seen to be very loyal, of course, was Kobe Bryant. He played his entire career with the Los Angeles Lakers, but we all know that he at one point demanded to be traded as well, and would have been traded had he not vetoed a trade to come to the Detroit Pistons. You do have players like Dirk Nowitzki, but that's a very, very rare scenario. I don't think Dirk Nowitzki has ever once even thought, it has never even crossed his mind to leave another team to play for a different team besides the Dallas Mavericks. I don't think it's ever crossed Mark Cuban's mind to trade Dirk Nowitzki either. The two of them are like best friends. They talk all the time. You see it all the time. So you do have rare scenarios like that, but for the most part, unless you are a generational type player, a once in a decade type talent, something like a Kevin Durant, a LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Stephen Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Those are the players that teams will be loyal to. Those are the players that teams will bend over backwards to try and keep on their team. Why? Not because they're being loyal to them, but because it will be a terrible business move to get rid of that kind of player. Those are players that bring in the most money. If you trade them away, there is absolutely nothing you're going to get in return that is going to make you nearly as much money. That's why they don't trade those type of players. That's why those type of players are the most likely to spend their entire career with one team, unless they decide to leave because it's in their best interest, because once again, it's still a business. So those kind of players are safe for the most part from being traded, at least. Anyone else though, if you're just a regular player or a starter or even an all-star like Isaiah Thomas is, you are seen as expendable. If the right offer comes along, if the right business opportunity comes along, you can say goodbye, pack your bags, because you are out of there. Me as a fan, I personally experienced this back when the Pistons traded Chauncey Billups. That guy was like the most loved person in the city of Detroit. He could have ran for mayor. He could have run for governor of the state of Michigan and probably would have won. Everyone loved Chauncey Billups. However, the team still decided to trade him for a washed up Allen Iverson. You know, it got really ugly in the Pistons organization in the city of Detroit after that. Let me just leave it at that. Things didn't go so well after that. And that's when I first realized that this entire thing as a business, you know, the team traded away the player that I like the most. And I was like, wow, it hurt. It hurt a lot, but I understood then that it's a business and that you can't be mad at some of these players for treating it like a business either. Just because a player is loyal to a team doesn't mean that the team is going to be loyal to the player. And if that's the case, then they have to look out for themselves. But now it's question of the day time. Do you guys think it's okay for players to request for trades, star players to request for trade, or to leave the team that they were with during free agency? Do you think every player has to be loyal? Let me know down in the comment section below, but now let's take a look at what you guys said in yesterday's video. Yesterday, I asked you guys if you think this new Cleveland Cavaliers chance stands the slightest chance of upsetting the Golden State Warriors, and if they do, if LeBron James will stay, and here's what you said. Question of the day, the Cavs have no chance. LeBron is already packed and ready to leave. Everyone's talking about who got finessed. It's Isaiah Thomas. He lost a 2 for the Celtics and he got traded to a sinking ship. That is low-key pretty accurate. Question of the day, LeBron is out of Cleveland for sure. If he wants to win and actually chase the goals that played in Chicago, he needs to get out of there. And Cleveland won't win no more titles. I'm 90% sure the Warriors are going to three-peat. The Cavs shouldn't start LeBron. They should bench him for the first few minutes and then he can come in and play those remaining 45 to 40 minutes so he doesn't wear down late in the game. This has to be, there ain't no way. This right here has to be the troll comment of the year. I get that some teams bench players that are easily good enough to start like the Spurs have been doing with Manu Ginobili, but there comes a point where you just start the best player. You never bench a guy. What the troll comment of the year? Bench LeBron James. But that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like if you did and subscribe for more daily NBA videos. And until tomorrow, keep getting the bucks, TMSDC. I'm out of here. Peace.